Hi, today we're going to talk a little bit about soil health. Soil health is an important concept, especially in our more arid climate. It can be challenging to keep the health of your soil good, and with the lack of moisture that we get, it makes it even more challenging. So, what is soil health? Soil health is defined as the continued capacity of soil to function as a vital living ecosystem that sustains plants, animals, and humans. It is key to productive agriculture. Soil is not an inert growing medium, it's a living and life giving natural resource. It's teeming with billions of bacteria, fungi, and other microbes that are the foundation of an elegant symbiotic ecosystem. Did you know that there are more soil microbes in a teaspoon of healthy soil than there are people on Earth? Think about that for a minute. For more information on the basics of soil health, go to that website on your screen. They have a uh, huge amount of information for learning more about basic soil health. We're going to talk next about the five essential functions of soils, because healthy soil gives us the clean air and water and the bountiful crops, forests, and productive grazing lands, diverse wildlife, and beautiful landscapes. And it does all this by performing five essential functions. Regulating water. Soil helps to control where rain and snow melt and irrigation water goes. If you've ever seen an extremely fast thunderstorm come through and it drops a lot of rain at once, and you see water puddle in places, usually it's puddling in places where there's not really good infiltration. So it flows over the land or it goes into and through the soil. If you have areas of good soil health, it's going to go into the land in those during those fast storms rather than run off. It sustains plant and animal life. Diversity and productivity of living things depend on the soil. The more diverse plant and animal life, including the worms and the nematodes and stuff under the cover of the soil, the better your productivity will be. Filtering and buffering potential pollutants. Minerals and microbes in the soil are responsible for filtering, buffering, degrading, immobilizing, and detoxifying organic and inorganic materials, including industrial and municipal byproducts and atmospheric deposits. If you've ever seen the little roly-poly bugs or pill bugs, some people call them, those those little bugs in particular take care of a lot of the heavy metal concentrations in our soils. But all of the minerals and microbes in our soil do incredible jobs doing all of the detoxifying and filtering and buffering that in our soil. Cycling nutrients. Carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and other nutrients are stored, transformed, and cycled in the soil. People talk about the rainforests in the Amazon being a natural carbon sink, but in reality, the grasslands of the prairies, the native grasslands of the prairies, are a bigger carbon sink than even forests. They providing physical stability and support. Soil structure provides a place for plant roots to grow. Soils also provide support for human structures and protection for archaeological treasures. But if you think about when you're building a house, you're digging into the soil to build that foundation. If your soils are unstable, like think about areas where there's landslides, where the water, when the rain comes down hard and the landslides happen, people's houses even go. Did you know that 95 of our food production relies on the soil? Healthy topsoil is vital to our existence on this planet. So let's talk about the principles of soil health. There are five main principles of soil health. First one is you want to maximize the presence of living roots. You want to keep the roots active and you want to keep them well fed. Instead of leaving fields to rest or lay fallow, keep plants in the ground year round and capitalize off all the free solar energy. Not so great in our climate where we have so much winter, but in the summertime, spring and fall, you can have plants growing and even sometimes into the winter. Carbon from the roots inputs The carbon from the root inputs stick around much longer than carbon from plant residues, helping to increase soil organic matter. So the importance of those living roots cannot be overstated. Minimize disturbance. From hooves to plows, soil is disturbed in many ways. While some disturbance is unavoidable, minimizing disturbance events builds healthier soils. To minimize the disturbance of your soil, you can limit the amount that the soil is tilled. Don't always first think about getting out that rototiller. Optimize your chemical input and rotate livestock if you're a livestock person. Keep it balanced. Healthy soil has room to breathe. About half of the soil's volume should consist of open pore space, which allow air and water to flow freely. Your ideal breakdown balance is 25% water, 25% air, 45% mineral, and 5% organic matter. Keep it hydrated. Healthy soil carries weight. Soil organic matter, SOM, holds approximately 10 times its weight in water. Healthy soils harvest rainwater like sponges, soaking up as much water as possible and minimizing losses from runoff. Maximize soil cover. Healthy soil needs full-time coverage. You can plant cover crops as part of both grazing and cropland operations. To maximize soil cover year-round, you can plant cover crops, use organic mulch, and leave plant residue. If you ever take a look at our pollinator presentation, we talk about leaving plant residue in the fall to benefit the native pollinator species like our native bees that nest in the ground, butterflies and moths that leave eggs in that plant residue. So it's not just good for soil health, it's good for the bees and the bugs. Maximize your biodiversity. Here we are talking about diversity again. Increasing diversity of plants can break your disease cycles, stimulate plant growth, and provide habitat for pollinators and organisms living in your soil. Plant diverse cover crops, use diverse crop rotations, and integrate livestock. If you've ever gardened, you know that you should rotate your crops even in your vegetable gardens because some plants provide nitrogen to the soil, some plants take it. So rotation of crops is important for a lot of things. For more information, go to the Menoken Farm website and learn more about the 5 soil health principles. The website is on your screen. Let's talk a little bit more about gardening for soil health. Armor the soil. Cover on the soil. Don't think about it as hard armor like rocks, but think about it as soft armor like buffer. Cover on the soil also reduces water loss through evapotranspiration. It reduces erosion and it decreases your soil temperature. Just a quick personal experience. My parents planted their property to CRP several years ago, and we were up to visit on a hot August day when everything around those fields was drying up and crackly brown. I walked out into mom and dad's field and it had live cover on it from the CRP plants. And I put my hand down on the ground and it was cool and it was moist. And so if you think about plants, like you think about insulation, that's what we're talking about. Eliminate soil disturbance. Again, don't get that rototiller out all the time. Soil is habitat for soil biology, and tilling the soil destroys those little critters' homes and their food, stirs it all up. Grow a diversity of plants. Again, we're talking about diversity. When there's diversity and the microbiology is in balance, plant diseases and pests decrease or are eliminated. Think about the monoculture up on McDonald Pass or up in the other mountains in the area. And when the beetle kill came in, the infestation of the beetles came in and killed so many of them, it's because we had such a monoculture. Part of that is a feature of where we live and just natural limitations on the types of trees and stuff that can grow. But if you think about that in relation to plants out on the ground, if we can improve diversity, we can decrease the pests and the problems that come along with them. Keep a living root in the soil. We just talked about this in the last section. Keeping living plants growing as long as possible provides food to the soil microbes during the entire growing season. It's so important to keep those little critters that we don't even really know or think about that they exist under the soil, keeping them fed. Incorporate livestock if you can. If you're a chicken person and you have chickens, let them out in your garden once in a while. They don't break down the residues like the big animals do, but they do provide um, nutrients to the soil. They take care of some of the pesky bugs like grasshoppers. And livestock in general can break down garden residue and make them smaller, more accessible to the microorganisms in the soil. So even if you're just a chicken person, let them out there. For more information on gardening for soil health, check out the two websites that are on your screen. Thank you for joining us today. And if you ever have any questions, give us a call at the office. My phone number is 406-502-8591, or you can email me at chris@lewisandclarkcd.org. Thank you.